overall part there. Moving along to number 2, the Line of Duty Act.
They sent us this email, and this email said you must adopt this resolution recognizing your volunteer companies. And we dealt with LOTA several years ago, but apparently they did not have this particular resolution on hand, and she even quoted if I'm not mistaken, a state code section where it needs to be done. We're asking as a matter of housekeeping for the council to adopt this resolution recognizing the fire department, not committing any monies or any of that kind of stuff.
Move to
We can
adopt
pass it on.
the resolution as presented.
Second.
Mr. Morgan has seconded Mr. Nash's motion. It's a great motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Oh, gosh, we're going so fast. I'm getting dizzy here. My goodness. Welcome sign planners. And I will say the welcome signs of Blackstone for the last 2 or 3 years have looked outstanding all year long.
They have, much better.
They have.
They've done a good job maintaining them. We bid them out. We're also going to be working on a project here very shortly, Josh Worrell and I, on potentially replacing the sign on Church Street that has all the civic clubs. And I think that was brought to my attention by Mr. Nash that it didn't have the curb appeal that necessarily we may like. So we're trying to find a better form of signage to put those signs on and maybe.
It's on Church Street.
It's over there by South Shore Industries.
Okay.
Out there on the kind of far western extreme of Church Street.
Are all those clubs on that sign still active?
We're not sure that they are active. I think there are some that we probably need to still work on, but that is a project that we'll be
They've contacted
working on.
clubs.
Okay. I see Mr. Hasbro.
Well, yeah, they're active, they're just not, locations are incorrect.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
And it may require a better location. You may be right. Maybe Main Street's a better location for this or something where perhaps there's more traffic, but we will be working on that. But in the interim, the first few years we had those planners when we did the bid out and the contractor was maintaining the flowers. We had sponsors. ViewMac sponsored, McDonald's sponsored, and I think Stark Behavioral were 3 of the sponsors, and DBI was the 4th sponsor. We went back this time, and Jessica Meadows did a good job with it. And we have 3 sponsors. Now, ViewMac is defunct, or that's not a organization that's interested in doing this. I think the gentleman at McDonald's is agreeable, and he may have already forwarded his check. I don't know. He may have, okay. And then Stark, I think, is paid, and we're asking that the 4th, DBI is agreeable to a site. We're asking that the 4th be reserved for Bevels in honor of Bobby Daniels, and that the town pay the $595 for that particular sign, so that we can get it created and not in memoriam, obviously, but in recognition of all the stuff that folks over at Bevels have done over the years.
Very nice suggestion. Members of council, what's your pleasure? This would be awarding the bid for the maintenance and agreeing to these signs.
No, we're good on the maintenance.
Okay.
This is just really, if it's agreeable with you, to allow us
Gotcha.
to dedicate just one for Bevels without having to collect money.
I so move.
Mr. Miller has moved to approve. Is there a second?
Second motion.
Give it to Ms. Thompson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Committee referrals, you got no request of me. I can't believe it. I only have one item on the mayor's minute, and that is I received a visit from Janet Wilson at my office last Thursday. She lives on East Broad Street. She said, "Well, you have any idea where the old roller skates are in the old armory?" And I said to myself, "They're gone, I'm sure. Let me call Walter Mack." Well, lo and behold, Walter Mack's got them. She would like to, and Mac showed her what the skates look like. Her church is trying to get some activities for children, and she would like the council to declare those skates surplus, and she would pick those as she wants. And Walter Mack wants to save some, though, for maybe a potential museum one day.
I think it's all a great idea. We just need to put an ad in the paper and let people bid.
Declare it surplus, right.
Declare them surplus and bid them.
I talked to Walter Mack about it.
She saw them, and she's tickled to death with them. So if this council saw fit to declare them surplus, we make a resident of East Broad Street very happy.
Move to declare them surplus with us retaining a few of the pairs.
I second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I think Janet is, she mentioned UBC, Union Baptist Church. They're getting ready to do something for beyond the gym up there in Crewe, I think. Or maybe down here, I'm not sure. You have your police report in your packet.
I had two items very quickly.
Yes,
One of them is, I sent an email out to council on Friday in regards to two police cars that we have down right now. One of them is the motor's blown and would require $4,000 to $5,000 of repairs. to
That's
that
right, you
particular
did.
car. The second one is Sam Murphy's Explorer. The transmission's out on that, and it's still out whether he will honor any kind of warranty for it, or will they put it in at cost. I think the chief perhaps can speak to that some more. Friday was the deadline to order a police package Explorer. That was the last day. Chief came to see me on Thursday, and sadly, we only had a day to make a decision. But it is in excess of the $10,000 that I'm authorized to do. But I did issue the purchase order and bring it to your attention so that you can either formally ratify it or say choose not to do it. But the funds to be used, it's unbudgeted. We just bought two police cars. They just showed up within the past month. We have some funds set aside where we sell old trucks, and we've got over $20,000, excuse me, about $19,000 in that fund as we speak, and then we'll flesh that out by the time the police cars get it.
Talked with several officers, and they had been just talking about Mr. Murphy's, Investigator Murphy's vehicle, and it's been a long time, and I hope we push them for warranty, because, I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
It is.
And it's been under warranty, and then it may not be, but it's been so long.
Yeah, we've gone back to the same dealership 4 times for the same issue.
Same issue.
Yeah, the investigator went up and met with their staff, and they're trying to work with us and forward.
I wouldn't let it down.
Yeah, we're
They
not
need-
letting it go.
They need to stand behind it.
Don't know the answer yet, but as soon as we do, but,
You need a motion from council to ratify that, which you did,
yes, sir.
which I support. Members of council, what's your pleasure? A motion would be to ratify the actions taken by the town manager regarding
Issuance
police
of a
vehicles.
purchase
Funds
order.
used from 19,000 from the recycling account, plus what else?
It'll take about $10,000 more to purchase the chassis, and I have an expectation that we'll sell that much more surplus. If I don't, then I come back to you guys and say, didn't make 29,000, we only had 24,000 or 25,000, but,
Where's the other 10,000 coming from?
well, we hope that we'll be selling additional equipment, old police cars and things like that, and, the recycling doesn't bring that much money, the cardboard certainly doesn't, but if we have a appreciable amount of scrap metal,
Scrap metal and stuff.
take that over.
I think
there. That's
Josh has
usually
been
more
selling a lot on Gov Deals lately, so that's where.
We just sold that green wrecker. You remember that rascal? We had a wrecker, I don't know, the town bought it surplus over Pickett, gosh, years ago. And we really just hadn't used it very much. And we've got Watts Towing here that can pick up our garbage trucks or something like that. So we sold that, and that went for $9,100. Over.
I move to approve the purchase of the 2 new police cars.
It's just one vehicle right
Oh,
now.
it's just one.
Just one
Okay.
vehicle.
Approve the one.
Is there,
Using the funds from the scrap metal proceeds.
I'll second.
Mr. Morgan is seconding. Any further discussion?
$29,510, $29,510.
Because the dollar amount's over $10,000, I'll have a roll call vote, starting with Mr. Nash.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0.
One other item, this will be coming to you here fairly shortly, actually 2 items. The first of which is, as we're working on our water project and our new booster station that we're gonna build at Pickett, it was determined after reviewing the plans and meeting with contractors, we didn't own the property. It still belongs to the National Guard or to the federal government where B&B had designed it for a booster station for our water system.
Wow.
Looked at the plans closely, met with the contractor, and I said, I don't think we own this property. And went back, and indeed, it's not on Fast C, it is actually on that which the Guard operates, and I think it's owned by the federal government. There is a piece of property directly across the street that's owned by Nottaway County, and I've spoken with Ronnie and asked him if he would be agreeable to parting with a piece of property. He said, send me a survey, I don't think it should be a big problem. So, once I have a survey and a plat and more information, I don't think the Guard has said no. Wilson Palmer, who handles, I guess, the real estate, has been very agreeable, as has Sandra Reagan. The problem is, it has to go to the Corps of Engineers, and then you've got 8 weeks, 6 weeks, God knows how long. So we'll be going back to the county and asking them for a site. I don't have the drawing yet, but as soon as I
How
do.
big are you thinking? I mean, how big does the site need to be?
Oh, I think the building is 20 by 30, or 30 by 36 or
Looking
something,
at
so
huge.
I would say 50 by 50 probably isn't us.
Got it.
You need a motion?
No, I'm just
Okay.
letting you know
Just
that in
information,
case
okay, all right.
Mr. Rourke contacts you or somebody from council, or from the Board of Supervisors. The last item is, we've been really struggling with the burn building. and trying to make some repairs at the burn building. And there's a whole history, and I'd be happy to share that with the Building and Grounds Committee or however you'd like. We contacted the former chairman of the South Side Fire Facility Commission, which is kind of defunct now.
Right.
And they have a checking account, and we were going to apply those funds towards replacing those several sensors in the burn building. Until further notice, he wasn't comfortable with signing it because he wanted the commission, but we don't have a commission. So the next best thing that Ronnie Rourke recommended to me was have a meeting of the Emergency Services Board. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Of all the countywide departments, and just put it out there and say, guys, this is what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do. So I spoke with the chief in Burkeville, John
John
Shute.
Shute, yes.
And John Shute should be calling an emergency services board, and that's what it'll be about, is trying to, once and for all, either have a commission, not a commission, what are we gonna do? But right now, there's funds sitting in the bank that we can't access, because we're
Like
not on the-
15,000.
about $15,000, and we're not on the signature card, and I don't think the gentleman who came down from Crew was totally comfortable in signing it and just handing the money over to the town, which was fine, but we gotta get it to some point where we bring it to a head and get the repairs done.
I think also, one of the things that's been brought to my attention over the weekend is I have very good relations with the mayors of Crew and Burkeville, and I think there's, I don't want to say it's volunteer, you know, some of these guys have gone several rounds in the past, and I think basically we need to assure, the thing to happen is Blackstone needs to own that building. Blackstone needs to assure Crew and Burkeville, look, you can train anytime, and with the new revenue stream that the county's going to have with the used to be the decal money, it's going to be a vehicle registration fee, which is going to probably double their pot of money. I think if we can get everything worked out and ask the county to have when they give that allocation out, $20,000 a year for maintenance of the burn building, because it's going to be a Nottaway County. We let anybody in Nottaway County use it free. Outside agencies pay whatever but there's a tug of war going on about, I heard somebody say that there's this fear that Blackstone's going to take it over. We need to get an agreement in writing and have and ease these concerns, because
All along, it hadn't been the fear. I mean, it hadn't been the intention of us.
No,
in
I know
Blackstone
that.
On the fire department nor the town side. But right now, that money is tied up in South Hill.
Right.
Farmville.
Prince Edward.
I mean, all these other localities that have nothing to do with our burn building.
right. And then some of them have their own burn building now.
I mean,
Mecklenburg.
I don't care if the money goes to a new commission that's only,
Or to the county.
to the county.
Right.
Whoever it is.
Right.
It
Receive
just
the
needs to
funds
be
if
in the
that's more
county. Yes,
trustworthy.
it just needs to be in the.
Let me know when that meeting's held, because I'm going to call Greg Eanes and Joe Morissette, and I think we can work this thing out.
Good, that's all I have, thank you.
I have one thing I want to mention. Y'all may notice in the legal bills, I questioned them last month, and Attorney Bacon gave a great explanation, but there's one bill that I'm responsible for this week, and I want to give myself criticism. Under the cemetery bill, and I got in a rock and a hard place, so I'm going to let y'all know, there's a $120 bill where it says research on the mayor's authority to have a grave fee moratorium. Some of y'all may know that I'm not crazy, but I defer to the council about the $200 burial fee. We had a local resident of Blackstone, very long time, for what it's worth, he's a volunteer fireman. The funeral director told me I was out of town, Billy, he's not going to pay the fee. He's not going to pay the fee. And I said, well, there's nothing really I can do to help you. The council has spoken. And so I asked Tessie if she could research legality. Can a mayor have the authority to declare a moratorium until this new council, which, the new cemetery policy? Tessie researched, and as I figured, there is no authority in the code for that. So I'm the reason for that bill. So I wanted to make sure that, if I'm going to be cherry picking, I wanted to also let you know that I cost us some money as well.
Can it's not you, but
Yeah.
cemetery and buyback of lots. What is that? Did someone purchase?
yeah, what is going on?
Lots and we bought them back, or what?
Our town code currently permits the town to buy back or have a right of first refusal of any lot purchased at the cemetery. And we've had several folks who have approached us and said, we live in California, we live away, we're never gonna use our plots. Does the town necessarily wanna buy them? We have a right of first refusal, but I'm not jumping up and down trying to buy dozens
buy-
and dozens of
It
lots.
depends. I mean, and I hate to say that money, in a cemetery, but we buy them back at the price that they bought them for, which was $100.
That's what the code says, that we would buy it at the purchase price or reserve a right of first refusal on the sale of any lots.
I turned around and saw it before, I got you.
The question,
I'm sitting there, it's sharp, I'll tell you right now.
here's the question that's come up, and this is probably gonna take the committee and myself a little bit of time, and who is authorized to determine who goes into a particular grave from the family. I know how the town handles it. But we've got some disputes in there, letters that we've received from family members say, you're not to take instruction from so, and so in my family to bury people in the cemetery. So what are the legal requirements? That's really what
They
this.
turn around and sell their grave, and then someone else in the family thinks they're coming back to
Wait a
that
minute,
grave.
you put Uncle Ed there, and
It's whose name's on the deed when they bought the deed, they bought the lot.
but if that person's deceased.
Then you got a mess. You got a mess. The committee's got their hands full.
That's what we're gonna try to work on.
And one thing I will pass on, I will just say this, I would simply ask, politely ask, if there's any way the committee could maybe reduce that burial fee or eliminate it. I know it's probably unlikely, but I told someone I would ask, and so I've asked, and there we go. I do have one item for closed session tonight, but I need to ask citizens if they want to speak.
You had,
Yes, I'm
on
sorry.
Mayor's Minute, you had one other thing on here about no parking spot on West Urban.
Philip, I think Philip and I agreed, basically, Christy Avalai's, her studio. I think some of when there's a spot where if someone parks there, the post office people have been complaining, the big trucks, if they come and make a left-hand turn, they're gonna strike a car, and Christy had suggested maybe a no parking spot. But I believe you or the clerk had said maybe wait for the post office to ask for that.
I met with Miss Avalise.
Yes,
I went
yes.
over to her office on Friday or Thursday and spoke to her very briefly. And I was asking, do you want to have a reserved space or what are you looking for? And she showed me it was at the corner on the side of the alley adjacent to the Edgerton Flowers.
Yeah.
And I think that, I can't tell you what her opinion of it is, but I said, well, as soon as the post office, and I think the request was going to be coming from the post office, as soon as we receive a request, we'll bring it.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing, so that's no big deal there. Any citizens tonight who would like to address council, I have a topic for closed session, should not be long at all. It's personnel. Anyone here? Any questions of the department heads? Well, hearing none, I need a motion to go into closed session for personnel, town manager.
And the other one, there's two
Oh, what's the other one?
closed sessions for,
I didn't see that.
I think Philip said it wasn't needed.
Wasn't needed for that one.
It's not needed in closed session, we can talk about it open session.
That's fine, go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, I'd like,
The town has been approached, Christine Hasbrook and I met with some individuals last week, and there was a request for the town to put a price on the town square. And if I remember correctly, the town in 2012 indeed said the whole was for sale. We actually listed it for sale at one time for the price of $99,000. This is all in the public record.
That's right.
And here's the terms and conditions. The committee consider adding to what Ms. Carolyn Davis said as a restricted deed that simply says, buyer hereby agrees to pay the purchase price of $99,000. Buyer hereby agrees to break ground within 6 months of closing date on a masonry building at least 5,000 square feet, in keeping with the historic architecture of downtown Blackstone, and the said building will encompass the area from north to south of the town square. And the buyer agrees to open within 18 months of groundbreaking a commercial retail establishment, keeping with the zoning of the town of Blackstone. And those are from the minutes from June 18th, 2012.
Is that gonna run away? So is this person still interested?
It's a different person, but Christine and I met with them a week and a half ago, 10 days ago.
Did that spook them?
I haven't given that
Oh,
information.
okay,
I just want
okay,
to see if it
okay.
is, again, for sale, and if the price is the same.
I'm concerned we're now calling it the square instead of the whole. If it were still the whole, then I would think, okay, but we've made a emotional ownership by calling it the square.
You're right.
And doing improvements to it.
but back in the day, in order to receive the grant, from what I understand, we had to keep it up for sale. Couldn't put any permanent fixtures in there, I believe is what the agreement was.
I think if I remember correctly, this was a while ago, that they were quite keenly interested in the town having a building or a business or something going in over there.
So the question you have for the council is, A, does the council wish to still sell it, and B, if so, what's the price?
And what are the conditions if they've changed from 2012?
That's a big issue. I think that, I've been unloading on Christine Hasbrook's committee, but that's a buildings and property committee, but council could end it right here.
I think technically your conditions should stay the same, because you have to have those in there, because you don't want someone to buy it and then just have
sit on it.
and sit on it and then charge people to use it. I mean,
Oh, no, we don't want that. In fact, I think that your committee is going to discuss policies for the square, because at the last council meeting, we sort of inadvertently kind of did something new. We let
Yeah.
a for-profit entity charge admission.
Correct.
And I've heard some chatter about that. Mr. Whitlow?
Just so I can clarify, like, are we, like, through BVI, putting in like $10,000 worth of improvements, but the
Well, that's a phenomenal question. I would certainly think those improvements would make council less encouraged, but if someone were to walk in and say, I love this, I want $200,000 and agree to the conditions, this council would have a decision to make.
I mean, ultimately, I think there's plenty of, and I know I may get flack from this, but I know there's plenty of green space in Blackstone we can find. If someone is going to put, I mean, if we get $100,000 off of a lot, but that's the small portion. You got to think of the building itself, the real estate taxes that it will bring. That's what the whole deal was to clean up that square, the hole,
Right.
to make it more appealing for sale. There used to be a sign up for sale there, but we took it down because we knew we weren't supposed to kind of advertise.
That's
on
right. It was a sign
property.
there. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there used to be a for
Yeah,
sale
it
sign
was.
there,
It
but it
was.
kind of looked gaudy, I guess you
Yeah.
could say.
Tough issue. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was a fan of making that a parking lot, and I'll tell everybody right now, I was wrong on that. I think what we have is very nice. But, business is important. I saw, yes, Mr. Hasbro.
Where are you gonna park?
Under my plan?
Yeah,
My plan,
I wanna build, he wants to build
oh,
It says
well, that's
commercial
just,
retail is what the stipulation currently is.
that's just it.
so let's say he says he wants to buy, say an apartment house,
Yeah,
or motel, or.
we got another parking
Where
issue.
do you park?
Mr. Van Norbeck has been saying we've got a downtown parking issue, and every time these apartments happen, which are great because it's activity downtown, that off-street parking requirement of 2 spaces per unit, you will run out of land, Mr. Whitlow, and then we're gonna, yes.
So does DVI need to wait as a nonprofit before it spends $10,000 in the mural and improvements when we could be wiped away with it?
I would wait on
We'd make you whole, first of all. This council, if we sold that lot, I think the council would make you whole, just thinking out loud. But the question is, and I don't know if we can make it tonight, maybe council feels strongly. Well, yes, go ahead.
Does it have to still stay on the market for sale?
We're not being pressed to do it. We just had a request from a private individual who wanted to know what the price for the town square and if the town would sell it. And I remembered it from the previous when we looked up those old minutes and then for the.
I think we need to look back at the actual stipulations of the grant.
But the grant,
Because that's what tied our hands last time. I remember we really didn't want to do it, but we at least had to have it out there in case somebody did want to.
right.
Was it the amount of time that it had to be for sale? Because a lot of times with grants, there's a time.
Right.
So you have to have it for sale for a certain amount of time, but if it doesn't sell within that time, then it would belong to the town. It doesn't necessarily have to.
I just
I
look at
think
it
this
though
needs to be
as-
looked into and discussed a little bit more before
I'm
any
with you. I
decisions
just
made
look at
tonight.
it.
Yes, it's green space and it's great for downtown, but we also have a historic tavern that maybe the area, if there's someone that's going to be willing to invest in our, I don't know, I'm just.
Yeah, I think Mr. Morgan's right. This is, and look, every buyer is different. Some folks just talk a big game, I like to buy this, and then some folks bring real money and means to the table.
That's right.
And it could be something great for downtown, so I would agree with Mr. Morgan, no action this time, and should we refer that to a committee, Mr. Van Norbeck? I think we'll refer to the committee you've been working with, Ms. Hasbrook's committee, Buildings and Properties,
We'll be meeting this week.
4 o'clock. Y'all got a big agenda. I see dog containers or something. Y'all got a big one, a big agenda. Any further business? I need a brief closed session, personnel, town manager. I'd entertain a motion to go in closed session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Morgan, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We thank y'all for coming out tonight, and we have been blessed with not so bad a weather.
It's been fun.
Has it?